Okay, so when we sew this facing onto the garment, we do want the correct side of the fabric to be facing the avatar on the inside and the wrong sides of the facing and the garment to be facing each other. So right now, if I sew this directly on here, I will have the right side of the facing against the wrong side of the fabric. And it really doesn't matter for Chloe, but as a pattern designer and pattern sewer, that should make a difference to you. So we do have to be thinking about this backwards. So when we do our segment sewing, I'm going to select the neckline. I'm going to aim my hash mark toward the center front so I can orient myself. And I'm going to sew it to the other side, the side I don't expect it to. And I'm going to have my hash mark going in the same direction. And it's going to finish the sewing for me. Likewise, I'm going to sew this to what looks like the wrong side, just making sure that my hash mark is toward the center back to orient myself. So it looks like it's switching, but that's because it is and because it's on purpose, okay? And you can see now that my seam lines on the shoulders are going to be a bit tricky, right? And so if I'm thinking about this sewn together, this one can go here, and the other one will go there. So when we simulate this, I'm going to go into my 3D window. There's a couple things that help this work a little bit better. The first is if you select your pieces, I shall show both my 2D and 3D windows together. If you select your pieces, all the pieces that make up your facing, and in your left-hand menu go to Strengthen, that helps keep things in place a little bit. We are also going to superimpose under, which is going to place them where they ought to go. And before we do any simulation, we do need to change something on our seam lines. So now that the seam lines are established, we can select the ones that we need to have altered a little bit, which is this neckline one. When they're highlighted, these neckline ones, they're going to be turned totally to the inside. And so in the property editor now, in the custom angle pull down, you can go to turned. That's the indication to the computer that we need this turned all the way to the inside. And we're going to do the same thing to these seams here. So go from custom angle to turned, okay? Everything else we are not going to worry about for now. So let's take a look at how this is going to play out in our 3D window. Everything is sewn in. Everything is placed on the inside. If we hide our avatar, we can see that the facing is inside there. I can see that the correct side is facing out. And it's currently strengthened, which is going to help it stay in place a little bit better. So let's place our avatar back there and simulate it. Okay, that looks pretty good. In some cases, you might see it try to fly out of the neckline. If that happens, then reset your 3D arrangement and go through the steps again of strengthening it and superimposing under. So again, I'm going to hide my avatar so we can take a look inside the garment. Let's hide my avatar. I can see that my pieces are still strengthened. So if you'd like to unstrengthen that, you can do that now. I'm going to go into my 2D window to select them all. While in transform pattern. And I'm going to go to unstrengthen. Okay, so when I go back to my 3D window, I can see that they are no longer orange. And when I simulate, they should stay where they belong. If one thing you may notice is that the edge is kind of jaggedy, and that is owing to the fact that we still have a particle distance of 20. If you'd like to change the particle distance of your facing pieces to 10, that sometimes helps. It makes it a little bit smoother on the neckline and makes the facing fit a little bit differently.